you're throwing. And one of the things I really loved that we ended our last little segment with was how you inspire people to microdose adversity every day. And to me, I feel like the reason why our country's in the place that it is and people are still wandering around with masks on and getting their third jab is because they're trying to avoid adversity, and it's like too late, skate. So I love that you're teaching that, even if it's just a cold plunge. I'm all about health. No one's talking about health. We're talking about these crazy, crappy poisons. So I just want to hear your take on how that mentality has helped you stand in this gap space of strength.
Well, I feel like the powers to be right now, they want us fat, weak, and stupid. Because a population that is fat, weak, and stupid is compliant.
Yes.
And will just do what they say, and will make them rich, and will serve them. And that is what they want the American people to be. Mm-hmm. And so if you see what's happening in our society, I want to go 180 degrees the opposite direction. And I want to be strong and resilient and intelligent, all the things that they fear, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so part of what I preach is microdose adversity, meaning do something challenging, do something hard every day of your life. And it can be something big or it can be something small, but continuously challenge yourself. You know, if you look at the human experience from the beginning of recorded history, life was hard. Mm-hmm. If people wanted to eat, they had to go foraging or they had to go hunting or they starved. If they didn't take the time to build the proper shelters and buck firewood, they would be cold and they would freeze. Mm-hmm. And like for us to feel comfort as human beings, there's always an equal and opposite reaction to that, meaning we have to go through some discomfort to obtain that.
Right.
Up until, 100 years ago? Now the human experience is we're just seeking comfort, and we get in our cars and we drive to work and we're in a heated building, and then we come home and we sleep in a comfortable bed. And a lot of people are not feeling any type of discomfort in their life. And I think that that's a big contributing factor to why everybody is getting fat and weak and compliant. And that's not the human experience. Especially as Americans, we are hardwired defiant.
Yeah.
That's what we are supposed to be. Our country was founded on defiance.
Yep.
And it's shocking to me that just observing the American culture over the last 24 months, everybody just does what they're told to their own detriment. And it's crazy to me.
Well, you made a really great point that I just made to my husband yesterday, because I'm going through Instagram and Facebook and I'm seeing all these posts about the shelves being empty. And I'm like, we are depending on those stores and those ships and those trucks to get us our food. Dude, we can go out and grow a garden. We can go hunting.
Yep.
We can go make our own food. And like, this is our biggest problem. The shelves are bare. You don't need shelves. Adam and Eve didn't have shelves.
Lindsay, I'm out of Fruit Loops. Be quiet.
I'm sorry. Go churn your own Fruit Loops. I've got plenty.
I can't grow Fruit Loops in McDonald's, Linz.
Oh my gosh! Don't start with me on McDonald's. Greg, did you hear her say McDonald's just now? Tell me about this weak stupid thing again.
It's so gross, right? No, but when you say they're fearing discomfort, and can I thank you for your service, for all of your deployments, and how honorable that is, and why having someone like you on who knows what discomfort is, has seen other parts of the world, that there's a whole nother aspect of that is most Americans haven't been to a lot of places other than here, and they're bashing it here. And that's so discouraging and disrupting, isn't it?
Well, and that's one thing that inspired me to make my original video back in May of 2020, when we were only a couple months into the pandemic, is that, I lived in Ramadi, Iraq for the better part of 3 years. Mm. And at the time, Ramadi and Fallujah were the most dangerous cities on the planet. And every single day we would get attacked. And it was just violence became a normal part of day-to-day life over there. And it's normal for the soldiers that are over there fighting. It was normal for Al-Qaeda, but it was also normal for just the citizens of Iraq. That was their day-to-day life, watching people get blown up and shot and just the chaos of war. And that became my norm. And when I came back to America and I would see like all these people, and I don't even say this pejoratively because they don't know, they don't have that perspective, but they don't realize how good we have it here and how chaotic and how terrible living in a constant state of combat, how terrible that is for you as a person.
Right.
And so I was concerned that with the police officers nationwide arresting people for going surfing, arresting moms at the park for playing ball. Remember all the stuff that we saw that was egregious. In my heart, I was like, you can only push Americans so far, and then we're going to push back, and now we're going to have violence in our own streets.
That's right.
And as someone that lived in that world for a long time, I was going to do everything that I could to prevent that. And that's what inspired me. If you listen to my original video, I was calling for cops to stand with the American people because I didn't want to see any type of conflict on our own soil.
Right.
And it's crazy to me that Americans haven't pushed back more than they have.
Well, and I don't know what the breaking point is. What's the breaking point? For me, it was right around the time that you broke. I said, I'm not going to shut my business down anymore. I'm literally going to go bankrupt and be in debt for absolutely no reason other than the government said so. And then we talked... Then we did mask mandates. Then we did the vax. Now we're doing vax mandates. And we're losing our healthcare officials and our military. And I'm like, when is the breaking point for the rest of you? It was like 2 years ago for me. Come on.
There are people that sat down and complied all the way up into the point of losing everything. Like, when are you going to stand up and fight for what is yours? And this is one thing that I told people. It's like, dude, I fought for people's freedoms, and I'm saying that in quotes because that's what we were sold. We were sold a lie by the government. But I lost friends, and I put my life on the line for years on end for people's freedoms. What do you think I'm going to do when my own freedoms are at stake? What do you think I'm going to do when my own children's freedoms are at stake? I'm going to fight 1,000 times harder.
That's right. Thank you, Greg. We're going to be right back. You guys are listening to the She's So Right Show with Lindsey Graham and Brandy Barclay and our special guest, Greg Anderson. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, welcome back to the She's So Right Show. We've got Brandy Barclay, Lindsey Graham, and special guest Greg Anderson. I'm going to read a scripture really quick because I don't know if Greg knows that I'm a Bible thumper, but
just super thump.
For God did not give us a spirit of timidity, but a spirit of power, of love, and of self-discipline. And what we're going to talk about right now is the fact that, you know, some of us, like myself and Brandy, I don't know about you, Greg, but we believe that we are fighting a spiritual war too. And a lot of the times Satan will use my aggressive nature against me and say, well, you're not acting like a Christian with your aggressive, you know, putting down of the transgenders and the blah, blah, blah. And I try to be nice. Sometimes maybe I'm not, but,
well,
but I'm the Patriot Barbie. I'm not the Patriot Princess. So
the word nice is basically more of the definition of nice is basically a complicit word. Yes. So I don't think we're called to be nice. I think we're called to love people, love God and love people. Loving people isn't just bending to lies and complying to lies and letting people be led to the slaughter without, I think of Paul Revere riding through the streets with a warning. And I think right now, someone like you, Greg, you're like a Paul Revere. You're warning people.
You're screaming.
You're
screaming
saying,
it.
like, listen, guys, I've been out there.
Yeah.
I've been on the front lines. I'm willing to be on the front lines here, and you should too. And I think that's so admirable and so awesome. But one of the things that I found out from Linz was you actually, by standing up, lost your job. Is that what happened?
Yeah. So I made the video. That day, my commander called me, and he goes, "What a powerful message, Greg. This department has your back 100%. We agree with you." Just all the political talking points that you get out of the higher-ranking people in the profession these days. Mm-hmm. And then he called me back about 2 hours later and goes, and I could just tell, you know.
Oh, no.
He goes, "Greg, you know, I hate to say this, but I was directed to tell you to take the video down." And I said, "Oh, that's interesting, because 2 hours ago it was a powerful message,
right?
And you supported it, And I still have that recorded to this day.
Him telling you that?
But I knew that this was coming,
yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
Anytime you go against the grain, especially in Seattle, liberal Mecca, I knew that some people would have a problem with it. And he goes, listen, I've been directed to tell you to take it down. And if you take it down, it'll be all good. And I said, listen, sir, in the video, I said verbatim that we need to stand up for what we believe to be morally and ethically correct. And we need to stand up for that at any and all cost, even if it costs you your job. And I said, so what, now you expect me to rescind my words when I just put that out there to everybody that I know? And at the time, I didn't know it was going to go super viral to hundreds of millions of people. But at the time, I had 1,000 followers on Instagram that were mostly friends and family and people that I've served with. And I was like, I hold no credibility if I rescind my words.
Sure.
And I said, plus, I'm a police officer telling other police officers to respect people's liberties and protect their constitutional rights. And I said, if a police officer can't say that in America, then maybe I don't want to be one anymore.
Ooh,
so you do what you need to do.
You. See, I'm sorry, but there is a difference between you and millions of other people. Some people get a little bug up their butt and they think, I'm going to speak up today. They speak up, they get canceled immediately, and then they back off, cower, and recant, and they salvage themselves. Like they compromise, they sell out. And that was your moment where you're like, man, I got a family to provide for, I have a job, I'm a police officer, I'm highly respected. I should just comply, or I got to salvage what I have left.
Yeah, I want to hear your heart in that moment. Like, where even though you're like, okay, I can't recant, did you have a little bit of a freak out? Like, okay, now what?
No.
Oh,
good. I'll tell you, and I mean, my nickname at the department was Crazy Anderson because I do not compromise on things that I believe. Period.
It's like my spirit
That's
animal.
just not how I'm wired. And I got that phone call. I was off shift. I'd already went home, and I was sitting in my 4Runner in a coffee espresso stand buying coffee, and my wife was sitting right next to me, and the phone was on speaker, so she heard the whole conversation, and she looked over at me and she goes, "I know what this means." I said, "Yep, you know exactly what this means, because I am not going to compromise my values and my beliefs for a paycheck. I'll starve to death first."
Yep.
You know what?
Like
Can I just say what a... Yep, go ahead.
I'll go out in the woods and hunt and fish and make it on my own if I have to, before I'll bend a knee to what I perceive as tyranny, period. You know? And it's shocking to me that all police officers didn't feel that way. And I'll tell you this, in the lunchroom, behind closed doors, talking to other cops, 100% of police officers that I know are in full agreement with everything that I said. I have yet to have a person challenge me that is inside of the profession, because we all know that it's the truth.
Right.
But
isn't it disheartening? Isn't it disheartening though that you had to stand alone in this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When push comes to shove, most people will bend a knee and take the easy path.
Man,
right.
but it's not easy in the end, brother. So we'll be right back with the She's So Right show. Hey guys, we're back with the She's So Right show. This is Brandy Barclay and my amazing co-host Lindsey Graham.
Amazing.
And today we are interviewing the strong Greg Anderson. Greg, thank you.
Crazy Anderson.
Crazy Anderson. I want to just say, Greg, the last portion where you're talking about when you lost your job and you knew, there was a knowing, like, okay, I'm not going to back down. That's not who I am. Your wife is listening to this going, okay, this is where we are. I do have to say, what a lucky girl. You know why? Because I would rather be married to a man who will not bow and take a knee to this tyranny than a wimp.
Nope.
So, I think if any men who are listening out there, any men, women prefer, even though it may mean, your wife's not out getting her nails done and you guys aren't taking major vacations. I don't know what this looks like for you, but I would rather be married to a man who will stand up for what's right than who will bow to what's wrong. So good for you.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't know if men realize how much women are looking at them right now going, I'm showing up to school boards. I'm doing this. I'm fighting for our kids. What are you doing? It is time to be the man that leads this family. That's your God-given role.